Mike McMillan. He is, and his family, celebrating Fiona's high school graduation and taking a much-needed weekend off. So in his place, Elizabeth Cohn is going to be delivering our message today. And we also have a special video from the fabulous Michael Stark, all in celebration of the final week of Mental Health Awareness Month. So for any visitors that we have with us today, I saw a couple of you, new visitors. If you would, please sign our friendship book that's in the hallway in the gathering space. And welcome particularly to those of you who are joining us online. We're glad to have you with us today. If you're on Facebook, like and share. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe to the station to help spread our message.
I apologize because we weren't online for a moment. That's why I missed on the PowerPoint slide.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Casey, for getting us back online. I have some sad news to share with you this morning. Many of you have heard this, but our own dear Mary Alexander passed away peacefully last night. Carl and Mary's daughter Donna are here with us. Be sure and show them our love for how much we love Mary, and we're glad you have to be here today so that we can let you know how much we love you, and to know that Mary passed away peacefully and is no longer in pain. So, if those of you want to know, are not on our subscription list and want to know what's going on by getting our newsletter, you can check us out at office@faithucc.com and send us a note, and we'll be glad to. .org, yes, thank you very much. It says .org right here. So we're glad you're all here today, and we have a very special announcement, something that we've been waiting a long time for, so I would invite our Labyrinth ladies to come forward.
Knock, knock. No. This isn't comedy night. Who wants to hear some good news? Yay. Who wants to hear some great news? Yay. It's official. Faith UCC is going to have our very own labyrinth. Can I hear an amen? And a glory, glory, hallelujah. And let's throw in a thank you, Jesus, too. A contract has been signed with a local contractor, and a deposit has been given, so we are on our way to having our very own labyrinth. Once the permit is approved by the town, Faith UCC can boast that we have the very first and only labyrinth in Dunedin. That's a big deal. From the beginning, when we first had the vision to have one installed here, we said, if we build it, they will come. And we stand by that. We know that a labyrinth here at Faith will attract many new friends and will be a great asset, not just to us, but something that we can share with our community. Think of all the programs we can have in and around the labyrinth: peace walks, drum circles, yoga, weddings. Sky's the limit. You may have walked the indoor labyrinth on Good Friday, and you probably have seen, if not walked, thanks to Barbara's spray painting skills, the temporary painted labyrinth that the Faith Walkers have been walking since Lent. This is the location where our future labyrinth will be, flowing right out from the butterfly gardens. Beautiful location. Here's a little background about this journey, this literal walk of faith. It actually began several years ago when Rosemary Randall introduced us to the labyrinth at nearby Good Samaritan Episcopal Church in Clearwater. Some of us really took to the contemplative practice of meditative walking and continued meeting and walking at Good Sam every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for the next 3 years. It proved to be very helpful during COVID to be able to be outside.
So we're so very, very grateful to all of those faith walkers who have kept the dream alive, and a special thank you to Leslie Kowalski for her tenacity, and she really worked hard at this, in finding the right person, the right company to do the job. Thank you to the Florida UCC Conference for providing us the seed money in the form of a grant to get this going, and to our own leadership team for their support. Deep, heartfelt gratitude goes to all of the donors who have generously donated to the Labyrinth Fund. Big and small, we like them all. And thank you to everyone who helped raise money through jewelry sales, Elizabeth, Comedy Night, Whitney et al., Women's International Day and Encore programs, Anam Cara Women's Circle. All of these events, in addition to individual donors, have helped to raise the money needed to get this labyrinth going. We'll still be accepting donations, so don't worry if you haven't gotten your money in yet. We'll still be accepting donations and manpower, as well as women power, to help with the landscaping costs and plantings to come. And we'll be talking more about this as the project moves along. This, after all, is a church-wide, an all-church project. And won't it be fun for everyone to put our living, loving faith touch on this? Groundbreaking will happen when the permit is granted, and the ribbon cutting will happen during the summer. And what a glorious day that will be. Thank you, and may it be so. May it be so.
Thank you, Barb and Marge, and especially Leslie, for all of the time and energy that you have put in on that. And as they said, we don't quite have all the money yet, so donations are always accepted for this great project that we have going. If you would now just take a moment, take a deep breath, and enjoy one of the videos from the Work of the People.
In our pain, our blue, our beautiful, our hard, our messy, our ugly, our struggles and our joys, God is with us. God accompanying us, God alongside us, God amid us, God among us, God beside us, God by us, God including us, God near us, God plus us, God upon us, God as companion to us, God side by side us, God in the thick of us, in the thick of our humanity, in the middle of this weary world. God is with us. In the gift and in the muck and mire of real life, we are called to be present, to be in the flesh with one another, accompanying others, alongside others, amid others, beside others, by others, for others, including others, near others, a companion to others, side by side with others, in the thick of others. God with us with others. God with the world in the thick of the beautiful and the messy. In that, a weary world rejoices.
Morning. Our reading for today. The special reading today comes from the Celtic theologian and poet John Donahue from his book Beauty, the Invisible Embrace. We all live with moments of brightening and shadowing, as John tells us, but we are also held firmly in a deeper fullness in all those times. May these words from John instill a sense of peace in our often hectic lives and a sense of hope that through it all we are sustained by a wholeness we are just unable to explain. All through your life, the most precious experiences seem to vanish. Transience turns everything into air. You look behind and see no sign even of a yesterday that was so intense. Yet in truth, nothing ever disappears. Nothing is lost. Everything that happens to us in the world passes into us. It all becomes part of the inner temple of the soul, and it can never be lost. This is the art of the soul, to harvest your deeper life from all the seasons of your experience. This is probably why the soul never surfaces fully. The intimacy and tenderness of its light would blind us. We continue in our days to wander between the shadowing and the brightening, while all the time a more subtle brightness sustains us. If we could but realize the sureness around us, we would be much more courageous in our lives. The frames of anxiety that keep us caged would dissolve. We would live the life we love, and in that way, day by day, free our future from the weight of regret.
Thank you, Amy. About a month and a half ago, knowing that we were coming into Mental Health Awareness Month, Elizabeth asked Michael Stark if he would put together one of his fabulous videos for us. And so, as he is wont to do, here's the world premiere of another fabulous video.
When I walk through deep waters, I know that you will be with me. When I'm standing in the fire, I will not be overcome. Through the valley of the shadow, I will not fear. I am not alone. my refuge in the storm. Through these trials, you've always been faithful. You bring healing to my soul. I'm not alone. You go before me. You will never leave me. I am not alone. I am not alone. You go before me. You will never leave me. I am not alone. I am not alone. You go before me. You will
Talents know no limits, and we appreciate all the work you do for us. Ordinarily, Elizabeth would be standing up here, but she had a fall, and so we're going to broadcast so you can see her on screen if you can't see her down here. And please welcome Elizabeth Gong.
Before I get into my presentation, I just want to mention that during the time while I've been in bed, my fingers have been crafting seashells to sell for the labyrinth. So I have 4,000 on the table waiting for other range. Okay. Mental health survey, draft 27. Well, I guess I missed comedy hour. I'll have to make up for it here. I was told that mental illness runs in my family, and that really surprises me because I never saw my parents being very athletic. That's applause. Seriously, dealing with mental illness and working toward mental wellness are not laughing matters. As we reach the end of May, Mental Health Month, I'd like for us to take the opportunity to look around and look within. This is the theme for Mental Health America 2023 campaign. Before we get started, though, let's take a quick look at the impact of mental illness. It is ranked as one of the leading causes of illness and disability around the world. Data from the World Health Organization reveals that approximately 1 in 4 people will experience mental health issues during his or her lifetime. It leaves many of us feeling stigmatized. As we talk about breaking down stigma, we remind ourselves of what Jesus said to the disciples. I give you a new commandment, that you should love one another as I have loved you. And to love one another, that means we have to release each other from the stigma of mental health. Genetics can play a role in mental illness. However, environment and lifestyle can be contributing factors. Look around and look within helps us view 3 primary environments in our lives. That would be our home. It would be our secondary space, which is work, school, church, and it would be nature. That's our 3rd space that is neither home nor work or other places. So to begin our journey, I want you to think at our primary space, and that is our living environment. Close your eyes for just a second. What is your perfect healing home environment? Individual senses are addressed by colors, lighting, configuration, scale, proportions, thermal comfort, scents, acoustics, and materials. These senses influence a range of emotions, behaviors, and mental health. The variables can take you from calm to a very anxiety-producing environment. Think about your architecture, modern, historical, beach, or colonial. What about textures? I love the feel of a slick bamboo floor and the addition of a soft area rug, whoops, and hopefully, don't start, sorry. And hopefully the slick bamboo floor won't land me on the soft area rug. Furniture, maybe it's an overstuffed chair or sleek modern IKEA furniture that improves your state of mind. Plants add color, lighting brings light or natural light into your room and brings you peace and joy. Sound, a bubbling aquarium, a koi pond, calming chants, movies in the background, audiobooks, or just the sound of peaceful quiet. Our color palettes are so dramatically different. Sharing space can be a joy or a chore based on conflicts within your preferences. We can feel those color differences even within our sanctuary. Some people look at our art and they say, wow, it's so vibrant, I love it. Others look at the art and say, wow, that's a little jarring for me. So even amongst the group there where we love each other, there can be differences, and that's why input from everybody is so important. Optimizing your space to improve your mental health is something that can benefit everyone in your home. It can improve and support your mental well-being. Think about visual noise. That sounds like an oxymoron, visual noise, but I love it. A cluttered, dirty, or confusing home can cause us to feel worried, helpless, and stressed, similar to the way unwanted noises irk your auditory senses. Visual noises encompass everything that is annoying to the eye, from jarring colors to spaces overloaded with objects. You ever know somebody who's got something in every inch of their space? There is no white space. I do. Research indicates that children raised in adverse environments tend to have a hindered brain development, and that increases their risk of memory issues, learning difficulties, and behavioral problems. And I can relate to this. I recently visited my childhood home. I asked the residents if I could come in because I was feeling nostalgic, but they refused and they slammed the door in my face. My parents can be so difficult. Neatness can evoke a sense of calm, provides predictability, and cuts down on fatigue and anxiety. Speaking of fatigue and anxiety, keep your bedroom spaces special and keep them cool and keep them quieter and keep them dark and have few objects of meaning around. So it's a place of rest. Also, watch your air quality. Improved air quality can raise oxygen levels in your brain, boosting mood and focus. Open your windows if you're in an area that doesn't have air pollution. Of course, if your air pollution is outside, don't open your windows, just flip on your air cleaner. When we talk about community and housing, one thing that's really important to me is stable housing. Because if you live in a neighborhood, in a community or an environment where your housing isn't stable and safe, it can add to your anxiety, stress, and hinder your mental wellness, your mental health. You don't want to live in areas of overcrowding. But you know, a good community can bring you to spend time with people to the point where you build bonds almost as close as family. In Proverbs 17:17, remember, a friend loves at all times. Good neighbors will listen without judgment, provide companionship, bring you a meal, or give you a ride when you're laid up, when you've fallen on your face. Part of being a good neighbor and supporter of someone is having mental health, is to listen, to give your voice, to use your words carefully, to not say she suffers from mental illness, but Lisbeth has some events in her life caused by mental illness. You know, suffering implies an ongoing event that happens every day, hurts you every day. That isn't true. There's an ebb and flow to mental health and mental illness. Let's not forget about our children these days. Let's think about their second space being the school. Positive school-based factors include a sense of belonging, feeling connected, feeling safe physically and emotionally, presence of a school-based support system including teachers, social workers, and mental health professionals. On the other side of the coin, there are negative factors for children, like being bullied or having teachers that aren't prepared to deal with students who might have mental health issues. Or even unclear academic objectives make school confusing and feel like it's not a safe place to be. And finally, as we get to the outdoors and nature, that's one of my favorite places. Spending time in nature is linked to many positive mental health outcomes, such as improved focus, lower stress, better mood, and reduced risk of developing mental health conditions. Most studies on nature and well-being look at green spaces like parks and forests. However, researchers, especially in areas like Florida, are beginning to look at blue spaces, such as ocean and river views, all contributing to our mental wellness. Plants and green spaces. 70% of respondents of a Mental Health America Connection survey reported wishing they had more time outdoors, ideally in nature, away from their neighborhoods, in the forests, in the places where there are fewer stressors, in the parks, in the gardens, places where there's reduced impact of negative mental health. Children living in neighborhoods with more green had reduced risk of developing depression, mood disorders, or eating disorders. But where do we find that green space? Well, how's about we walk out the door and go to our butterfly garden, and then we can walk a little further and go to our labyrinth. It doesn't take much green space to attain mental wellness and health. You know, if you look at some of our hobbies, we can incorporate green space into our hobbies. Let's look at our outdoor hobbies. You know, if you give a man a fish, you feed him for one day. If you teach a man to fish, he will go spend a fortune on gear that he will get out twice a year. There you go. If you can't go to nature, bring it to you. Snake plants and bamboo palms can help purify the air in your home and bring you better outlook. Don't forget natural sunlight. It triggers the release of serotonin and vitamin D, which are associated with boosting mood and focus and reducing stress. Natural light enhances the positive impact of overall emotional and social well-being. One of the best benefits you can get from nature is connection, which is a better connection to ourselves, our community, and our purpose. Time in nature benefits personal growth, self-esteem, and emotional regulation and social skills. Children connected to nature are more imaginative, and they're more independent. The nature connection can be as easy as planting the seeds we planted in our own Sunday school class when we had one, and practicing gratitude when the seeds started to grow. You would be amazed at how excited the children were when they saw these little seeds coming out of their cups, and some people were trading cups because theirs didn't sprout, but that's a whole different story. I suppose the most important environment is our inner environment. Along with your physical spaces, consider your inner environment as well. Realize that optimism, hardiness, self-efficacy, sense of control are linked to good physical and mental health. They can be learned and practiced. Set a positive intention for your interaction within your home and yourself. Remember, perception impacts mental health. If some aspect of your life is negatively impacting your mental wellness, changing your perception of it may help you feel better. Trying to find appreciation in your world, even if it's one positive thing, can help reframe. It can help reframe your thoughts and your environment. So take this day, go within, go without, and enjoy your day. Have a wonderful mental health month, what's left of it. And thank you for all your participation this month. I think we still have shells and things on the back. We have worksheets to evaluate your mental health, and I hope you will take them, use them, and enhance your life. Thank you.
it's my lucky job to tell about joys that people have. Lori and Victor want to announce that their nieces Morgan, Tess, and Who else? Kennedy, okay. Graduated high school this week in Georgia and Texas. And niece Kennedy graduates next Sunday in Minnesota. Let's see, there was one more. Snuck down there. Joan and Sue celebrated 49 years together. Wow. And happy 70th birthday to Sue Markovitz. All right. I have something called the lesson. Do I dread the thought of death? No, it's just a transition. Am I scared of mice or spiders or heights? Not particularly, just a bit squeamish. My greatest fear was being dependent, that I would have to ask for help, that I would lose my independence, my self-reliance. Much to my dismay, that day came. Simple tasks like taking care of my pets were too much. Taking out trash cans were impossible. Grocery shopping was a distant memory. I discovered that people were asking to help me. Do you need a ride? Can I move those trash cans to the road? I made extra soup. Would you like some? Can I clean those litter boxes for you? Lo and behold, I was giving them a gift, the gift of allowing them to serve. My admission of weakness was a gift to others. That was my lesson. Thank you to all my teachers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. From the personal to the collective, let us join our voices in this interpretation of the prayer we call the Lord's Prayer. The words are on the screen. Essence of life that is in us, that permeates every fiber and molecule of our universe. Awe-inspiring is the thought of you. Let us ponder your closeness, compassion, empathy, understanding of all creation. Give us what is necessary to live, and wipe clean the slate of our mistakes, our unkindnesses, our failures to act, as we forgive the unkindnesses and mistakes of others. Help us to do what is right for our world, and keep us safe as we avoid the pitfalls of existence. For you are us, our connectedness, the energy, the power, and the magnificence, for all time, eternity, and timelessness. Namaste and amen.
Thank you, Wendy, for those words of learning to ask for help. I've known Wendy for a long time, and that's one of the hardest things that she's ever had to do, and you did it finally. Yay. I'd like to invite Carl up for an announcement.
How many are ready for some good news? How about some great news? We should start the service every time that way and close it the same way. Yes, we've heard about the journey inward, and the labyrinth is one of the ways that we do that, the importance of spending that time in silence and going inward to find the beauty and the joy and the hope and the promise that's in each of us. But also there is the journey outward, and I want to talk to you a bit about that today. I have an immediate concern and then a long-term concern. One of those, the immediate, is sharing with you about a program called Take Stock in Children. Anybody ever heard of that? Yeah, we have one. Oh yes, good, Beth Ann. Thank you. Yes, Beth Ann and I have participated in Take Stock in Children. She began before me, and as all good things in my life have come is by following her lead. And what it is it's a program that's a nonprofit organization that raises funds so that when teachers find children that are in the 6th grade, 6th or 7th grade, that show promise, but there's evidence through the school system that they don't have the financial means for further education beyond school, you become a mentor. And you become a mentor, one student, and you meet with them. My practice was once a week, and it turned out the best time was at the lunch hour. And what you're doing with them is just to be a place of support and encouragement. You mentioned the schools, Elizabeth, and there is such a need there to support our young people. And it's rarely quite easy. If I can do it, you know that you can. I was fortunate enough to have 2 brothers, and I met with them from the 7th grade on, and they graduated from high school and went on to further education. And so what it is to empower young people who, again, the families may not have the financial means to send them to college or trade school or beyond. And so this powers them if they keep a particular average and that they participate with their mentor, and they have to keep their grades up, of course. It's a sign of great hope for them and their families. In my instance, again, the 2 brothers were the first in their family that would ever have the possibility of going on to further education. Beth Ann had the same experience with her and her students, but one in particular, even advanced and graduated earlier and went on to college, just an amazing young person who just needed that presence through Beth Ann to stay at task, see that goal, and hopefully achieve it, and she has. So anyhow, I would encourage you now, what the high school, particularly this is getting close now, because the high school across the street has a need for 5 mentors. And so what they need is for you to call them and say, I'd like to help out with the Take Stock in Children program. And it will involve background checks, there's training and there's support and guidance for how you should lead your students. So they want you to try to get to go on that. Tom Miller is already switching over to that program from another supports program, and so he's going to be going there. So we need 5 to do that. And hopefully somebody will find that in their heart that that's something significant for what our world needs now. Love, love, love. The long-term one is Beth Ann and I also returned to, as we had before in prior years, to volunteering at our elementary school in Tarpon Springs. And the schools and the kids and the teachers need us. It was never more evident in these last few months that we've been at Tarpon Sunset Hills Elementary School. Teachers in the classrooms need that extra person just to put out some little fires, help out with some kind of tasks, or even up to the point of helping out students who are falling a little bit behind and helping them in their skill sets. I'll tell you the story. When I followed again Beth Ann's lead to go back to Sunset Hills Elementary, the volunteer coordinator, and that's another thing, every school has a volunteer coordinator. All you have to do is ask for that person, boom, they'll plug you right in. I was given the opportunity to work with a student who just had immigrated from Cuba to America, didn't know a word of English. And then the following week, a young girl, 2nd grader, came from Ukraine who didn't know a word of English. Now, I'll know master English as a second language. I can't even do it as a primary language. But I have been able to work with them, and it's just amazing the miracle. These kids are so hungry to learn. And it's just been an awakening place of joy for me. One of the volunteer coordinators said to me as I'm going out the door one time from the school, she said, "Oh, we just thank you so much." And I said, "You don't need to thank me. This is my happy place." I also had the good opportunity that following working those 2 students, I went down and went into a kindergarten room. If you ever need a definition of chaos, go into a kindergarten room these days. Again, the teachers need our help. And so short term, if you can, call the volunteer coordinator over at the high school right here in our neighborhood, or any other elementary school in the fall to sign up and volunteer. The journey inward, yes, and the journey outward must continue as well.
Thank you, Carl, and thank you, Elizabeth, for your message. This church is a church that supports those with who are living with mental illness. I am one of those people. I live each day with depression and anxiety. One of the things that Elizabeth did early on and in our role of being involved with the mental health community was to start a group called Life is Life. We meet by Zoom every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. It's a small group. It's people who are living with some kind of transitional issue or living with mental health issues or living with physical issues. We get together. Sometimes there's 2 or 3 of us. Sometimes there's 8 or 9 of us. But we get together and share our struggles and support each other. So if you're interested in being part of that, see me. It's a really unique way that we can support each other in this church. As you see on the screen, we're transitioning out of Mental Health Awareness Month into Pride Month. Yay! And we've got 3 events coming up. One of them is the ball game, which if you have not yet paid, today is the absolute final day, $32 for your ticket to the ball game, the Rays game. Casey, how many people do we have signed up so far?
Somewhere between around 35 or so.
35? Okay.
Most of them have paid. There's only a handful that haven't.
Okay, so those of you who haven't paid, and I know Mike McMillan is one of them, and he's not here today. So, but we've got the game coming up on June 10th. Also, Thursday at 10:30, the city will be opening their new city hall. Dunedin will be opening their new city hall, and they're going to be raising the pride flag on Thursday at 10:30 a.m. We're going to meet here at the church at 10 if anybody wants to join us, just to ride over there so that we can give support to the community and be there to raise the pride flag. Also, Pastor Mike has been working with the Pastoral Relations Committee, working on ideas for sabbatical. And they have approved a sabbatical for him, and as has the leadership team. So our pastor will be on sabbatical for the months of September, October, and November. We have a whole list of guest speakers that are going to be there and be there in the months that he's going to be gone. We will have a party to send him off on his sabbatical on Sunday, August 27th. That'll be his last Sunday with us for 3 months. And then he'll be back in December to lead us through Advent. So lots of support from Mike. He has been here 10 years without a long break and certainly deserves this sabbatical time. On Saturday, you'll notice that Adam Kara is presenting Together Women Rise. It's a potluck event. Bring a dish, come and share. The programs are really fun and informative, and we find out how we can support young women around the world. We also have a work gardening day coming up on June 17th. As you know, Gary is with us here, but Gary has not been able to work in the garden as much as he is used to or likes to, and so we're going to have a gathering. I'm not sure what time it's going to be, but put it on your calendars for Saturday, June 17th, and there'll be more information in the open door. And finally, with Pride Month coming up, we have had, the leadership team has had a request from the security team that because the world has changed and because it is Pride Month, that there is a feeling, and we have had comments from some in our congregation that we don't feel safe because of the work that we do in the community. And so the leadership team has approved having security here during the month of June. We will have a deputy out front with a car and be with us on premises during the month of June. This came about because we got a note not too long ago telling us to repent and be saved, because some of the messages that we post on our signboard. Mike put the new sign up last week, which says, "Live life as if you're a book that would be banned in Florida." Within 3 minutes of him putting up the sign, a woman drove through the horseshoe and took a picture of it and gave him a thumbs up, while another man drove by in his truck and gave him a different finger. So we know that...
Thumbs down?
It was... No? That would have been nice. That would have been nice. But at any rate, Jude Decker is our security team. Jude, you want to raise your hand? If you have questions, and Jenna is on the team, as are others. If you have questions or comments about this, we welcome you to let us know how you feel about it. But we do feel, particularly for the month of June, that it's important that we feel like we are protected. So, with that, as Mike has always wanted to say, oh, yes.
I'm so sorry. I had a senior moment, and I forgot to send Mike an announcement about Out the Lunch Bunch for next Sunday. Have not determined where we're going yet, but it will be 12:30 next Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. I want to thank everybody for continuing to support the congregation as we do new things. As Mike always says, we have, plates on the back. If you were out gambling last night and earned a ton of money and want to give some of it to the church, please feel free to leave some in the plates. If you want to give on a regular basis, we ask that you go to our web page and sign up for either Banco or PayPal. And also, what some of you don't know is that we have to pay a fee when we use Banco or PayPal, but if you want to give on a regular basis, which we love because you never forget when you're away on vacation, you can sign up through your bank and have a bank check sent to us, and that way we don't pay any fees for that. But the work that we have done here is only possible because of your generosity. And as Marge and Barb told us, that we not quite to the point where we have all of the Labyrinth paid for. So if anybody wants to make a contribution to make the Labyrinth a reality, please feel free to do so. I think it's time to end the service. So. We hope that you have a blessed Memorial Day, and keep in mind those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice to keep us free. It's very important, but we hope you have a safe and wonderful Memorial Day. And feel free to stay with us afterward, get to know somebody new, enjoy the hospitality. And now let us rise in body or spirit and sing our way out of here. And love one another.